Reiji Akaba, the president of the Leo Duel School, watches the LDS festival and stumbles upon the legendary pendulum summoning that Yuya had debuted on the big screen. He decides to make his own, but with anything, there's qualms. He does not want to use the mechanic without knowing how it operates, so he hires Sawatari, one of the strongest duelists of the school, to be his test subject. "You will give me a card," he says, and Sawatari retorts, claiming he doesn't just give away his stuff like that. "It must be one of your own. I have tried to transcribe its code onto the other cards, but I could not get the program to fully immerse. It was incomplete. I have a theory that it requires human connection. A card already has value and worth to its duelist." "So why don't you use one of your own?" Sawatari exclaims. "It's only a theory," Reiji says, taking Sawatari's card and then dismissing the student. Sawatari must duel Yuya to gain more information about the mechanic. Then, when he wins, he will use a program installed by Reiji to extract the data from his duel disk, so Reiji can compare it to what he's been able to observe from Yuya's first duel. Sawatari returns home and ponders at night. He can't wait to utilize such a powerful summoning method, but he's impatient. He leaves his home and trespasses into the LDS property. He has the authority to enter the premises, being a high-class individual, so he enters no problem. He goes ahead and takes his card back. "This was all I need," he says. He leaves and then confronts Yuya, going to his apartment complex and challenging him to a duel. "Why would I do that?" Yuya questions. "It's late at night and the festival continues tomorrow, so he needs to be well rested." Sawatari says he has some inside info. Reiji has perfected the pendulum mechanic. This, of course, is a lie through his teeth. He's only been just developing it. "What?" Yuya exclaims. He has never seen anyone use the style. His heart sinks and he clutches his necklace. "That's right, you're old news, and all I need to do is defeat you, and I can master the mechanic too." He normal summons Hellwood Paparazzi and sets a card. But then Yuya darts off. He runs with the intention to seek out Reiji and forewarn him about the dangers of the mechanic. But because the duel has initiated, he is forced to play it out. Yuya runs up the stairs and sets Proper Dragon and Euphoria Dragon in the pendulum scales, and then pendulum summons Enter Mate Hy-Vee in attack position. When Hy-Vee is special summoned, she can add one dark pendulum monster from the deck to the hand. Yuya adds Prin Dragon and normal summons it. However, Sawatari is rapidly approaching Yuya using his hoverboard, so our protagonist finds himself at a dead end and is forced to fight anyway. Prim Dragon attacks Paparazzi, but its effect activates. Once per turn, it can negate the attack and special summon a puppy token. Then, Hy-Vee attacks Paparazzi, but Sawatari activates Pity Party, negating the attack and inflicting damage to Yuya equal to the number of monsters that have more attack than his monsters, 500 each. Yuya sets a card, and then on Sawatari's turn, he tributes both of his monsters to summon his ace monster, Hellwood Underworld Dog, in attack position. Underdog attacks Prim Dragon, but Yuya activates Pendulum Lacing. It returns a pendulum monster, Euphoria Dragon, back to the hand, and then makes the damage become 0. Then, Prim is placed into the pendulum zone instead of being destroyed. With Scale 1 and Scale 8, Yuya pendulum summons Odd Eyes Euphoria Dragon and then attacks Underdog. Hy-Vee attacks directly as well, but then Sawatari, after taking the damage, activates Wealthy Heist. If he takes damage from a direct attack, he can take control of up to 2 of Yuya's face-up spell traps, so he grabs Prim and Proper and sets him onto his scales. Then, on his turn, he pendulum summons Underdog, revealed to be a pendulum monster. Sawatari says that Reiji was able to reinvent his beast for him, as it perfectly emulates his ability to come back. Yuya questions him on how he was able to know about the revival effect of pendulums. He didn't use it against Sledgehammer. Sawatari says that Reiji has been studying the summoning method since that day, and has come to the conclusion that there is no reason for the monsters to go face up in the extra deck unless there was another way to bring it out. Underdog attacks Euphoria Dragon, and when it attacks a monster with higher original attack than its original attack, Underdog's original attack is doubled during damage calculation, Also, due to Prim, Underdog is boosted even further, shooting up to 5,300 attack. On Yuya's turn, he switches Hy-Vee to defense position and then sets a card. Sawatari activates Favorite Chant on his turn, a continuous spell that bestows piercing onto Hellwood monsters. Also, if they attack, the opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. This is bad news for Yuya, who had set Draining Shield the turn prior. Underdog attacks Hy-Vee and destroys her, and Sawatari does a victory dance, but through the smoke, Yuya's life points remain unscathed. When Euphoria Dragon was destroyed, it placed itself onto the Pendulum Zone instead of going face up in the extra deck. Its Pendulum effect reduces damage from special summoned monsters by 500, equal to the number of face-up cards on the field, so it can negate up to 2,500 damage, more than the 1,300 done by the blow. This is a continuous effect that does not activate, so it could do so even under the restrictions of Favorite Chant. On Yuya's turn, he activates Minor Trunade. It returns all face-up spell traps to the hand, returning Prim, Proper, and Euphoria back to his possession. He sets Prim and Proper onto the scales, and Pendulum summons Euphoria Dragon. Euphoria Dragon attacks Underdog, and because Underdog is special summoned, Prim boosts Euphoria to 3,000 attack. Then, Euphoria's effect activates. It deals damage equal to the number of face-up cards on the field, winning the duel. Although Sawatari acted on his own, Reiji was viewing the duel from security cameras. "Interesting," he says. "Thank you for your assistance, Sawatari."